Hopefully, at this point, you're starting to see how you can take a little more control back in your life through technology and also through sheer force of will. The main lesson is simply that you have to have a clear idea of what you want and then have the willpower to make it happen for yourself. And to close, consider one more tip from Tim Ferriss: using fear setting to overcome the fears that might be holding you back. Going traveling, changing job, or setting up your own business can be frightening, and you might find yourself struggling to go through with it. To overcome this, write down all of the things that you're afraid of going wrong. Losing your job, being left by your partner, having your home repossessed, etc., etc. And then rate how likely each thing is to happen and come up with a contingency for how you'd cope. And this can very easily diminish a lot of your fears. And you know what? If you think about it, the prospect of continuing to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week in a job you hate for the rest of your life is really much scarier. Don't accept the status quo. Take the plunge, and at least you can say you tried. And I wish you every success. So, how do you go about getting started with lifestyle design? One option is to quit your job, set up an online business, and leave the country. That's an extreme approach, though, and if I told you to do that, 99.999% of you would just laugh it off. So let's rewind and start with something a little more manageable, something a little more realistic and a little more helpful. The best place to start is just by knowing what it is you want from life. That means knowing the lifestyle that you're trying to design and what you need to do to get there. This can be surprisingly difficult for many people, though, and most of us feel like there are just too many things we want. So perhaps a good place to start is by asking yourself what your current pain points are in life. What's causing you the most stress? And what things do you really want to do that you've been forced to, even just temporarily, put on hold? Now, I'm not talking about grand dreams for the future. I'm talking about projects around the house, plans to get into shape, or just the desire to spend more time with family. Ask yourself, what aspects of your life are causing the most friction right now and preventing you from living the way you want to live? Now, it might be that your commute is taking up unnecessary time. It might be that you're coming home from work too tired, or it might be that your house is too small. At the same time, ask yourself when you're most happy and when you last felt truly exuberant. What were the circumstances and what could you intentionally do to recreate them? And don't get stuck on typical notions of success, happiness, or accomplishment. If your perfect situation is, quote, lame, or other people think it's weird, well, then that's just fine. If you're at your happiest watching Dragon Ball Z, then your only question should be, how can you make more time for that? Another tip is to challenge yourself to imagine what your perfect future might look like. And this really means looks like. Just visualize what you want for yourself. Now, imagine that all your plans go well and everything turns out the way you'd like it. Where are you? What are you doing? It might be that you're on a sunny beach somewhere or on a yacht. In this case, you know that you need to travel more or move somewhere warm. Alternatively, your vision might involve you living in a beautiful modern house with a hot wife or husband. In this case, your objective is to get the time you need to meet more people and to find ways to get that stunning house as fast as possible, which doesn't mean breaking your back at work, as we've already discussed. Your perfect future might be outdoors playing with the kids. In that case, it's time to cut back on work and to get outdoors and a physical job. You know what, though? Your perfect future might be an image of you in a suit standing in front of a spectacular view of the city in your high rise office. And that's fine too. I'm not saying that this goal is less important than others. I'm just saying that it's the default that a lot of us fall back on without really thinking about it. What if you want to go the whole hog and become a real life digital nomad? Then go for it. If this is the kind of lifestyle you're interested in, then it's going to take some work, but it will also provide you with some incredible experiences that will change you as a person. So, how do you go about it? Well, using any of the online businesses we've already looked at will help. And at the same time, so too will planning routes and adventures that allow you to stay within your means and which also give you constant access to the internet. Let's look at some small tips that can help a great deal. Nomads.com is one of the biggest online communities for nomads and provides not only a large number of great articles, posts, and resources, but also networking opportunities. The latter means you can find clients and business partners, but also that you can find places to stay and even people to date and meet up with. Unfortunately, membership is not free. However, you will find that you get a lot more out of it than you pay, so it's worth it if you're serious about this lifestyle. The right tech will make all the difference to your ability to work conveniently on the go. For example, you'll need to invest in a laptop that is small, light, and powerful. At the same time, it should have a very good battery life and be affordable enough so that you won't be heartbroken and destitute if it should get damaged or lost. A good bet is the Surface 3 or the Surface Pro 3 or 4 if you have a little more cash to hand. There are many other devices and gadgets that can also help. One example is the Microsoft Universal Folding Keyboard, and this is a keyboard that does what it says, folds. It folds down small enough to fit in a pocket and is highly water resistant. It lasts for yonks on a single charge and is generally a great backup. You should also have some kind of internet dongle, unless you can rely on your phone's wireless tethering. And you should get a universal charger that you can use to recharge your devices regardless of what the power supply voltage is or what the power sockets look like. Another tip is to always underpack. It's easier than you probably think to buy things abroad, so instead of worrying that you don't have anything, underpack and replace what you find you need. This will help you to travel much more lightly and will make everything from getting on the plane to trekking around foreign countries that much easier. Before you visit somewhere new, always be sure to research where the best places are to work. Often you'll find that there are designated co-working areas or at least great stores with good Wi-Fi. As well as hardware, think about the software that will help you. A World Clock app for Android is a very useful tool, as are many conferencing apps and collaboration tools like Google Drive, Asana, and others. Open source software like OpenOffice or LibreOffice are great too, as you can download updates from the web for free. Now, with a better idea of what you want from life, the next step is to make a simple list of things you'd like to change quickly. Don't worry if that change is realistic or not. For now, just write it down anyway. Write the things you want to spend more time on, things like relaxing, being with family, exercise, being outdoors, working on your novel, and so on. And write down the things that you want to spend less time on, the washing up, commuting, tidying, staying late at work, etc. Write down as well the experiences you would like to have and the objects that you really need and get enjoyment from. Now you've done that, the first place to start is by recognizing the time you have available to you without changing your job. Changing jobs is the part that most people probably find hardest, so it makes sense for us to leave that for now. Instead, focus on small tweaks that you can already make that will give you that much more space, that much more time, and that much more energy. Energy management, by the way, is one of the very most important factors when it comes to being able to get the lifestyle you want. This is something that all too often gets overlooked in favor of time management. Let's say, for example, that your perfect future includes a vision of you who is thinner, stronger, and more energetic. Then you can do more of the things that you want to do, which might mean extreme sports or starting your own fitness YouTube channel. Who knows? To do this, though, you need to start exercising. So you'll buy a book on losing weight and building muscle. And that book will tell you to train 5 times a week for an hour a week. If it's a somewhat smart book, then it will acknowledge the difficulty in fitting this in, and it will thus suggest that you make more time by getting up a little earlier in the morning or by doing it before you come home from work. But time isn't the problem. It never has been the problem. You've had plenty of time. If you didn't, then you wouldn't have been able to watch the entire box set of Breaking Bad for the 5th time. The problem is that when you come home from work, you probably feel exhausted and stressed and just want to sleep on the couch. You can't face working out. And likewise, in the mornings, you probably feel groggy and rough and really struggle to drag yourself to the gym or just to do press ups on the floor. So the problem is energy. Even if you have enough time, you won't be able to train or do the other things you want to do unless you have energy. And if you're struggling to find the energy just to have active evenings, you need to ask yourself how you're going to find the energy to add 5 hours of training to your week. Likewise, you need to ask yourself how you're going to find the will to travel to the gym, to get changed and ready, and to do all of the other things involved with going to the gym. In short, just because you can fit something in terms of time, that doesn't mean that you can or that you should attempt to. Chances are that if you want to fit something extra into your routine, you're going to need to find a way to increase your energy levels. And ironically, exercise is one of the things that can't do this for you. Or you're going to need to try and remove other energy consuming things from your routine. Just know that energy is a finite quality and it's one of the biggest limiting factors in terms of what you can accomplish during a given day, week, or month. And the same goes too for anything else productive that you might want to do, whether it's taking the kids to the park or learning woodwork, which is another great way to improve your home without spending a fortune. Now, fortunately, there are tons of little ways that you can collect back time and energy throughout the day, and there are tons of things that you can do to make your routine easier. Again, this is a matter of identifying those pain points, those things that are more stressful and time consuming than they should be, and then figuring out ways to overcome that. And I'll cover them in detail in the next video. Even if you have a completely passive business online, there will be times when you need to do some management or upkeep. If you run a blog or a YouTube channel, or if you run a service, then that upkeep and day to day work becomes larger. And if you're still working in an office, even if you've negotiated better working conditions, then you'll have a lot of admin, correspondence, and general management to tangle with. So, a big part of living the lifestyle you want is going to be managing your workload, managing client expectations, dealing with colleagues, etc., etc. And this is where you need to start being savvy if you're going to reduce the work you're committed to and buy back your freedom. One of the big challenges when it comes to managing your workload is how you're going to pitch your service to your clients. In other words, how quickly can you complete their work? How much work are you able to finish? And this is important because the phrasing you use will dictate how free you are. Now, let's say you're a writer and you promise to complete 8,000 words a day for your client. This now means you have to work until you finish that workload. And if you can't fit it in, then you'll have to let them down and you might end up losing them as a client. How might you deal with this better? Well, one option is to say you'll provide a TAT for each piece of work as and when you receive the order. Another option is to say you'll finish X amount by the end of the week and then manage how you're going to complete those orders. Another thing to think hard about is specifically which clients you want to work with. And this is something that Tim Ferriss talks a lot about in his book. He describes the 80-20 principle that dictates that in most work, you tend to get 80% of your yield from 20% of the work. In terms of working for clients, this suggests that 80% of your profits will come from 20% of your clients, in which case it makes sense to do some culling. It also makes sense to try and remove all the clients that are particularly difficult. You need to think about the people you work for in terms of their communication overhead. What you'll find is that some clients make everything more difficult by constantly sending emails, asking questions, and demanding Skype meetings. Others will make life easy by paying on time, communicating briefly but efficiently, and generally just trying to help you both get as much work done as possible. Avoid time wasters and definitely avoid working with wantrepreneurs who would rather feel important than do actual work. I have a policy that if a new client requires a Skype meeting, then they're probably not for me. In the past, I would often have long meetings on Skype with people, sometimes lasting hours, only to then find that they only wanted 10 minutes worth of work. And this just creates so much more admin and so much more stress that you're better off turning down some of your work and limiting the amount of people you have to deal with and how hard they are to work for. The same kinds of principles can apply in the office too. If you have any say in the matter, then try to reduce the number of meetings you take part in to an absolute minimum. If you could convey the same information in an email chain, then do. Tim Ferriss again gives some pointers here. One of his pointers is to only check email at set points throughout the day and to set up autoresponders to inform people of that fact. Make sure that you provide an emergency number, but also make sure that you really make clear that this number is intended only for emergencies. This way, people can get in touch if they absolutely have to, so you aren't worrying, but most people won't bother you. The problem is that as soon as you answer emails and start dealing with other people's requests, you've become reactive as opposed to proactive. And by the time you've responded to everyone, you'll have another task sitting in your inbox. Another tip: when answering the phone, begin your conversation by saying you don't have much time. This allows you to get to the point quickly without being rude. They might offer to call back at a more convenient time, but you need to squash this idea and encourage them to talk right now, but quickly. In the last video, we talked a bit about freeing up time and energy. Here are some examples of things you can do to help free up time and redesign just those smallest aspects of your everyday routines. One way you can get more done in less time is to multitask. Some jobs simply don't let you multitask and you'll get in trouble if you try. Others, however, make multitasking relatively simple. For example, if you're washing up, then you could also be on the phone catching up with friends or watching your favorite TV program. Likewise, a commute is the perfect time to read books or perhaps to run a side business, earn some more money online on the way to and from work, perhaps, or to work on some kind of dream project. You can also automate. Automation means using a device that can automatically complete the job that you would otherwise have to work on yourself to complete. Now, a good example of this is a dishwasher, which shows just what a big difference to your lifestyle you can make with one simple purchase. If you're currently spending a big chunk of your day washing up dishes, and if the kitchen is often covered in dirty washing up, then a dishwasher can give you back a lot of time and make your home that much more attractive place to live. We'll get into outsourcing in much more detail later on when we discuss it in a more traditional business sense. However, even in your daily life, outsourcing can be a great strategy to help give you more time and to help you achieve more. You can do this by hiring someone such as a virtual assistant, someone who can, for example, help you book appointments and meetings or even find potential holidays. Alternatively, Outsourcing can also mean delegating by asking friends or relatives to help you with various tasks. Got to plan a stag party and don't have time? Well, ask one of the ushers. Have too many calls to make? Ask your partner or a friend to help out. You'll be surprised how often people are willing to help. Then there's reducing clutter. Now, this is absolutely essential. Reducing clutter around your home can make a massive difference to not only the look of your home, but also the amount of space you have available and the amount of time. We've already discussed how much reducing clutter can improve the look of your property, by increasing the average value of what's on display. But it can also make it much easier for you to keep things clean and tidy and save time when you're looking for things, etc. Saying no and saving time is also very important. Many of us will spend an awful lot of time doing things we don't want to do, being with people we don't want to be with, and generally feeling pressured to take part in a range of activities we're not really interested in. As you might imagine, this isn't a particularly good use of your time, and seeing as how precious your time is, it's crucial to start treating it as such. Don't be afraid to say no when someone invites you out, and don't feel like you have to do anything that doesn't help you work towards your goals or bring you joy. We all have responsibilities, but going down the pub to see that friend you don't really like is not one of them. Meanwhile, you should also start thinking about other choices you make in your life and how they will likely affect your lifestyle more broadly. For example, we've already seen that your choice of job will affect the hours you work and the amount of stress you bring home with you. But have you considered the importance of the location in which you work? In other words, how close is it to your home? How far is the commute? Likewise, how far is it for you to get into town to buy some nice things and sit by the river during your lunch break? You know, these kinds of things make a huge difference to your mood and happiness on a daily basis. Sitting in traffic all day to get to a crowded industrial estate is a surefire way to destroy your will. Likewise, when thinking about where you want to live, don't just think about the money. Think about how easy it is for you to go out and get some milk when you run out, and think about how far away you'll be from friends that you like seeing regularly. Once again, ask how this decision will impact on your lifestyle and your day-to-day routine. Even the amount of drainage space in your kitchen can end up having a really big impact on your happiness and on your free time. If you wash up your dishes only to find you need to dry after every third one, then this can quickly become frustrating and take up a lot more time, and it'll leave your kitchen in a mess. So try to view every decision through the lens of giving yourself the most pleasant and enjoyable lifestyle. Lifestyle design is an entirely new approach to business and life that can make you happier, freer, and richer. Right now, thousands of people around the world are adopting the principles of lifestyle design and using it to travel, spend more time with their families, and to do the work that they love the way that they want to do it. But lifestyle design goes beyond that. It's also about changing our approach to our work-life balance. It's about embracing the promise of modern technology. And it's a movement and a cultural change, and it's very likely going to be instrumental in shaping the future. Sound hyperbolic? Allow me to explain exactly what lifestyle design is and why it's so important. Lifestyle design simply means that you are designing your lifestyle. It sounds simple and it sounds obvious, but it's something that most of us never do. When was the last time you sat down and asked yourself what you wanted life to be like? What you wanted your daily routine to be like, and how you intended to get there? If you're like most people, you will have fallen into a job because you had no other option and that was what you were taught to do. And probably you've just kind of survived until now. You'll live within your means, you'll work the hours you're set, and you'll even probably have chosen where you live based on your work. So right now, you've not chosen your life. You have no choice about where you live. You have no choice about how to spend the hours between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., taking into account your commute. And you probably have limited choice on how you spend the rest of your time due to time and budget constraints. Adding insult to injury, you're probably also an employee, which basically means that you're doing what someone else says and exchanging your time for money. As an employee, you'll probably be given set work to do during the week, and you'll probably be reprimanded if you don't do it in time. And this is the part that I personally find hardest to stomach. You will be reprimanded. Like a child. You'll also be told what you can and can't wear and how you're allowed to decorate your desk. And a lot of the rules will be petty and arbitrary. Oh, and you also get in trouble for talking in most offices. Seriously, this couldn't be further from freedom. And it's not just the hours you spend actually working that affect you either. Just as bad is the time that you lose out on at home. When you only have a few hours, and more importantly, very little energy, in order to do anything useful once you get home, it can make it very hard to spend the time that you want with your family, to spend the time working out and getting into shape, to spend time outdoors. Even just to read that book or to play that video game that you've been wanting to experience for a while now, can be difficult. It's so bad that we end up just looking forward to the time when we're old enough to retire. And you know something is wrong when we're actively looking forward to being so old that we can't move around properly without being in a lot of pain. But here's the thing. It really doesn't have to be like that anymore. These days, it's possible to communicate with anyone from around the world without leaving the comfort of your home. You can accept money transferred wirelessly. You can get any information you need, and generally, it's possible to earn money from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. With all this in mind, why don't more companies offer flexi time and allow their staff to work from anywhere, or at times that suits them? Sometimes it comes down to the requirements of the job. Perhaps you need to be in the office in order to answer the phone. But a lot of the time, it simply comes down to the fact that a lot of businesses are stuck in the past and are unwilling to try new approaches. But you don't have to work for a company at all anymore. You can provide a service freelance online, and that could mean writing, creating websites, being a proofreader, providing consultation of some sort, being a personal trainer or counselor, writing music, taking photos, buying and selling products, creating physical products to sell, data entry, running a blog, sports commentary, or programming. All these jobs, and many more, can be performed online with no need for you to be present in person, and this is something that anyone can handle on their own with no need to have a boss of any sort. Once you start doing that, you can set the hours you want to work. If you want more money, you can work longer hours. If you want more time to spend with your family, you can choose to work a little less. Likewise, you can decide precisely the kind of work you want to do, and you can direct your business to do things in your way and get the pride that comes from that. Working online also means you don't have to commute anywhere. This means you can live anywhere in the world that you like, or even travel the globe. Likewise, it also means that you can forget about losing an hour or more every day just to travel. It means you can wear whatever you like in general, and it means that you can start dictating how you want to live your life instead of having it dictated to you. You're now in a position to choose how and when you work, and that means that you can choose to design your work to fit the lifestyle you want. It's a subtle shift, but it makes a profound difference. As we're going to see in the next video, lifestyle design doesn't just mean working online so that you can work outside the office. Otherwise, this series will be called Working Online. Rather, this video series represents an attitude shift, and this can affect you in all manner of different ways. Wait! Before you get started creating the life of your dreams, you're going to get a chance to design your dream lifestyle even faster. First off, I want to thank you for purchasing the guide to creating your dream lifestyle and joining the new rich. If you follow the step-by-step guide, you'll be well on your way to living anywhere, loving life, and truly living a life that most only dream of living. But what if I told you that there was a shortcut to the shortcut? What if there was a way to make big strides towards living your dream life faster than by just going through the PDF guide you just purchased? And what if you could build a life that's even better than you ever imagined? Although the PDF guide is extremely easy to follow and is written in a very step-by-step format, some people learn better by watching than by reading. What about you? How do you prefer to learn? Are you okay just reading a guide, or are you a visual learner that often gets better results by watching something? If you're like the majority of the population, watching a video makes learning much easier. Did you know that most people that buy books or text-based guides don't even complete them? And the ones that do get through the guide or book rarely follow through and apply what they learn. But what if you didn't have to choose between just a text-based guide or something more? What if you could get the best of both worlds and get a complete video training course in addition to the PDF guide that you purchased? Something that would take you by the hand and really show you how to build the life of your dreams, regardless of where you are today. The good news is you're going to have the opportunity to create the life of your dreams faster than you ever thought was possible today. Introducing the video version of the Guide to Lifestyle Design. My mission is to help you build the life of your dreams as quickly as possible. But I must make it 100% clear. It's the little details that make all the difference when it comes to lifestyle design. If you miss a step in the process or do things the wrong way, you may not be able to leave your current job as quickly as you would like to. Or worse, you could find yourself stuck. You could end up as one of those people with big dreams of living life on your own terms, but never actually being able to do anything about it. That's why it's crucial you soak in everything from the lifestyle design guide you just purchased. If you want to design your dream lifestyle as quickly as possible, it's important that you pay close attention to important details like getting started with lifestyle design and fully understanding what it's all about, learning the various types of digital nomads, how to plan your income needs as you move into the lifestyle of your dreams, and the steps you must take before you take the plunge and leave your current life. If you miss just one step while planning your new lifestyle, you could find yourself wasting a lot of time, taking much longer than you need to finally change your life, or the worst case scenario is never actually doing anything to change your life. Sadly, many people talk a lot about living a dream lifestyle, but just don't know the exact steps needed to take action and really build that dream life. But when you follow the video upgrade to lifestyle design, it's much easier to stay focused on your goal of building the life of your dreams. Upgrading guarantees you'll learn how to create your dream lifestyle with minimal bumps and the fastest path to success. Click the button below to get instant access. And of course, as an existing and valued customer, you'll get access to the upgrade with special customer-only discounted pricing. When you consider that this is truly the next best thing to having a lifestyle design expert showing you exactly how to create your dream life, It would be easy to charge $1,000 or more for this video upgrade, and it would be worth every penny. But you won't pay anywhere near that when you make the wise decision to upgrade right now. Plus, when you take action today, you're also going to get an exclusive bonus of 10 high-quality audio MP3s of all the training. This makes it easy to plan your escape while you're on the go and make sure you get results as quickly as possible. When you add the MP3s to the 10 high-quality videos that show you how to finally create the lifestyle of your dreams, it's impossible to fail when you upgrade. Not to mention, you get to test drive this upgrade for the next 30 days. With absolutely zero risk. If for any reason, or no reason at all, you're not 100% satisfied with what you learn inside, simply send us an email and we'll refund every single penny of your tiny investment. No questions asked. But please don't wait. This is an exclusive one-time offer at pricing that's only available to our existing customers. If you wait, you may never get another chance to get access to this at a price this low. Click the button below to get instant access today. Wait! Before you get started creating the life of your dreams, you're going to get a chance to design your dream lifestyle even faster. First off, I want to thank you for purchasing the guide to creating your dream lifestyle and joining the new rich. If you follow the step-by-step guide, you'll be well on your way to living anywhere, loving life, and truly living a life that most only dream of living. But what if I told you that there was a shortcut to the shortcut? What if there was a way to make big strides towards living your dream life faster than by just going through the PDF guide you just purchased? And what if you could build a life that's even better than you ever imagined? Although the PDF guide is extremely easy to follow and is written in a very step-by-step format, some people learn better by watching than by reading. What about you? How do you prefer to learn? Are you okay just reading a guide, or are you a visual learner that often gets better results by watching something? If you're like the majority of the population, watching a video makes learning much easier. Did you know that most people that buy books or text-based guides don't even complete them? And the ones that do get through the guide or book rarely follow through and apply what they learn. But what if you didn't have to choose between just a text-based guide or something more? What if you could get the best of both worlds and get a complete video training course in addition to the PDF guide that you purchased? Something that would take you by the hand and really show you how to build the life of your dreams, regardless of where you are today. The good news is you're going to have the opportunity to create the life of your dreams faster than you ever thought was possible today. Introducing the video version of the Guide to Lifestyle Design. My mission is to help you build the life of your dreams as quickly as possible. But I must make it 100% clear. It's the little details that make all the difference when it comes to lifestyle design. If you miss a step in the process or do things the wrong way, you may not be able to leave your current job as quickly as you would like to. Or worse, you could find yourself stuck. You could end up as one of those people with big dreams of living life on your own terms, but never actually being able to do anything about it. That's why it's crucial you soak in everything from the lifestyle design guide you just purchased. If you want to design your dream lifestyle as quickly as possible, it's important that you pay close attention to important details like getting started with lifestyle design and fully understanding what it's all about, learning the various types of digital nomads, how to plan your income needs as you move into the lifestyle of your dreams, and the steps you must take before you take the plunge and leave your current life. If you miss just one step while planning your new lifestyle, you could find yourself wasting a lot of time, taking much longer than you need to finally change your life, or the worst case scenario is never actually doing anything to change your life. Sadly, many people talk a lot about living a dream lifestyle, but just don't know the exact steps needed to take action and really build that dream life. But when you follow the video upgrade to lifestyle design, it's much easier to stay focused on your goal of building the life of your dreams. Upgrading guarantees you'll learn how to create your dream lifestyle with minimal bumps and the fastest path to success. Click the button below to get instant access. And of course, as an existing and valued customer, you'll get access to the upgrade with special customer-only discounted pricing. When you consider that this is truly the next best thing to having a lifestyle design expert showing you exactly how to create your dream life, it would be easy to charge $1,000 or more for this video upgrade, and it would be worth every penny. But you won't pay anywhere near that when you make the wise decision to upgrade right now. Plus, when you take action today, you're also going to get an exclusive bonus of 10 high-quality audio MP3s of all the training. This makes it easy to plan your escape while you're on the go and make sure you get results as quickly as possible. When you add the MP3s to the 10 high-quality videos that show you how to finally create the lifestyle of your dreams, it's impossible to fail when you upgrade. Not to mention, you get to test drive this upgrade for the next 30 days. With absolutely zero risk. If for any reason, or no reason at all, you're not 100% satisfied with what you learn inside, simply send us an email and we'll refund every single penny of your tiny investment. No questions asked. But please don't wait. This is an exclusive one-time offer at pricing that's only available to our existing customers. If you wait, you may never get another chance to get access to this at a price this low. Click the button below to get instant access today. As mentioned in the last video, lifestyle design is much more than just working online. Rather, it's just about putting your lifestyle first and your career second. It's turning your priorities on their head, and it's recognizing that you don't have to live to work anymore. But the most obvious example of this is still working online. So just to illustrate what most people will picture when you say the words lifestyle design, let's take a look at one particularly popular type of lifestyle, that of the digital nomad. So what is a digital nomad? A digital nomad is someone who has completely rejected the conventional idea of working in an office or really of accepting any restrictions whatsoever. Instead, this is someone who has embraced the possibilities of the internet and taken them to their furthest extremes by becoming a nomad. What this means is that the digital nomad is able to travel the world, stay on the move and see lots of different countries and things, All the while, they will work on a laptop wherever they can find Wi Fi in order to provide services, run a blog, marketing, or otherwise managing some kind of business. The lifestyle of the digital nomad then would typically involve exploring, traveling, and meeting new people during the day, and then spending the evenings working in cafes and bars while soaking up the atmosphere. They can go wherever they want, see whatever they want, and never have to answer to anyone in any sense. What's more, the digital nomad can work significantly less than the average office worker. That's because the cost of staying in hostels, traveling on cheap rail fares, and generally living their kind of lifestyle is much less than renting a property or paying off a mortgage. The digital nomad knows exactly how much money they need to do the things they want to do, and then they work just hard enough to fund those specific intended activities. If they don't manage to make the money that day, they can stay where they are. If they do make the money, then they can afford to try something more exciting. The digital nomad lifestyle is one that will be incredibly appealing to the right kind of person. If you're someone who wants to see the world, if you value your freedom and experiences above all else, and if you're able to forego your creature comforts, then you'll get a real joy out of being able to see the world on your own time and live the life you want. But it's certainly not for everyone. If you're somebody who likes to relax in a nice warm bath while drinking tea, then you might struggle with constantly moving from one hostel to another. Likewise, you might want to start a family, or you may love the idea of buying a home and making it exactly the way you've always dreamed it would be. But this is the whole point of lifestyle design. You are designing your lifestyle using the freedom that modern tools give you, and that can mean whatever you want it to mean. I personally work from home because I love the freedom. I don't actually work out of a home office, though, as I find that claustrophobic. Instead, I work in coffee shops where I can soak up the atmosphere, chat to people, and watch the world go by outside. I meet friends for lunch often, and I come home early to work out. What's more, I'm constantly traveling. Now, I don't like the idea of being constantly away, and so I like to take lots of shorter trips instead of being constantly away for one long trip. There's nothing stopping me from being able to visit somewhere new for a long weekend, taking my laptop and working out there for Friday and Monday. I don't have to take time off, I don't have to ask anyone's permission. Being UK based, this year I've been to Dortmund in Germany, Cornwall, that's in the west of England, repeatedly, the Forest of Dean in Wales, Salou in Spain, Mauritius, the Rhine Falls in Switzerland, Radzofel in Germany, Lisbon in Portugal. In a week's time, I'm going to stay in a log cabin for a week with my wife, and I'm still going through the process of buying a house. As I said earlier, I meet friends regularly for lunch, I take days off to pursue things I want to pursue, and I'm building a business and a brand that I'm really proud of. This is a lifestyle that anyone can have now, if they so choose. So why limit yourself to just one holiday a year? Why spend your life looking forward to the freedom you'll get from retirement rather than letting yourself experience life right now? But what if you don't want to give up the day job? What if you don't want to work online or you think you're not tech savvy enough for that option? You know what? That's fine too. Lifestyle design is not completely reliant on you being able to become a digital marketer or a web designer. One option is to discuss with your current employer about the possibility of flexi time. Express an interest in working from home whenever possible, or in having the freedom to come in an hour later and leave an hour later, or vice versa. And don't just take no for an answer. Explain how you can be more productive and demand to know why your boss is saying no, if indeed they are. At the very least, try to overcome the notion that a good employee should be willing to stay until 7 p.m. to finish their work. If it gets to the end of the day and you haven't finished yet, leave. As much as you might feel a pang of guilt at leaving your work unfinished, it's the burden of management to make sure that work is able to be completed in the time given. And if you're not able to do that, then they need to hire more staff, take on less work, or generally rethink. It's not your responsibility. And that's one of the few perks of being an employee. Better yet, though, is just to change your job altogether, but now to think of your work in an entirely different way. Instead of finding a job that will pay the most and potentially also involve taking on a lot of responsibility that you don't enjoy, instead think about what you want out of life and what kind of job will be best suited to giving you that. So, for example, this might mean becoming a rubbish collector. Being a rubbish collector is something that many of us wouldn't consider to be a good or glamorous job. But then ask yourself, why does a job need to be glamorous? Why does a job need to carry importance or respect? Why is it important to you that people sound approving when you tell them your job? Instead, focus on the actual merits of being a rubbish collector. You start work early but finish early, giving you plenty of time to exercise, engage in hobbies, or spend time with family. It's surprisingly well paid for what you're doing. It's physical, meaning you can get some exercise. You don't have any stress or responsibility. At the end of the day, you get home and you forget about work rather than worrying about the things that you haven't managed to finish. Now, I'm not saying that you should really become a rubbish collector, not for a moment. But I am saying it's a viable option if it fits the lifestyle that you want to live. And it's a good example of why you should consider jobs that you might traditionally have rejected in the past. There are many other career choices that can give you even more freedom and flexibility, and that might prove to be an even better decision. For example, driving instructor. A driving instructor is someone who has all the stability of being employed, but all the freedom of being self employed. You can decide when you want to take on clients, and you can arrange lessons so that the rest of the time you're free to do what you want to do. The same can be said for a taxi driver, hairdresser, or piano teacher. Again, it pays to think about the lifestyle you want and then the job that supports it, not the other way around. The problem is that too many of us end up trapped in the rat race and feel as though there's no way that we can break free. Partly this is because we want to get that sense of achievement and status from our jobs, which I'll come to in a moment. Moreover, though, it's because we think we need to live up to the money. As soon as you start earning a certain amount of money, you'll probably change your lifestyle within your quote means. If you're earning $50,000 a year, then you'll probably find yourself taking on a mortgage that costs more than if you were earning $30,000 a year. Likewise, you'll probably buy more gadgets and more toys, and you'll probably go out more and go on holiday more. That's the dream the way it's sold to us, but then the reality kicks in. Your lifestyle costs so much that you're now completely reliant on your job to support it. Therefore, you can't make the decision to work less or take a pay cut because then you'd end up in debt. If there were things you wanted but you couldn't afford, then you might already be in debt. Likewise, you're probably working so hard that you don't really have time to watch that new widescreen TV or play all those new computer games. And also, more important things like your health and your relationship with your family are falling by the wayside. So let's rewind for a moment and reassess. Why not buy a smaller house on that $50,000 salary? Let's say it has one less bedroom. It's a two bed instead of a three bed. You may not now be able to have that home gym, and you might have to move home if you ever have three kids. But you're now completely free from the stress that comes with earning only just enough to maintain your current lifestyle. That means you can spend more money on traveling and going on holiday. It means you can take on an easier job with less stress. And it means that you can visit friends, paint, write, read, exercise. Why don't more people make this decision? Of course, you might decide that all you care about is that home gym and you need three bedrooms. But in that case, you can probably find other areas to cut costs to focus on that one thing that is truly important to you. What most of us don't realize is that it is possible to get what we want right now. It's within your means. Let's say, for example, that you want to travel more, and so you're trying to climb your career path to earn the money that you need to go traveling. Except that the more money you earn, the more responsibilities you take on, and the harder it is to take a career break. And the older you get, the more commitments you have elsewhere in your life. It's never a good time to travel. So, you know what? You should just do it now. And there are plenty of ways to do it cheaply thanks to budget airlines, Airbnb, and more. My recent trip to Switzerland, for example, cost me all of $50, or the equivalent in British pounds. I live in the UK, so an EasyJet flight cost me barely anything, and I was able to get it even cheaper because I'm fortunate enough to know a pilot. A return flight cost about $20, and we booked the accommodation one night with Airbnb. It was an incredible cabin on the side of a beautiful mountain in Siskikon. And I spent the rest of the time staying with a friend. You must know at least some people who live abroad. I worked on the Friday and the Monday and a little bit extra on the Saturday to earn back the cost of the journey. Even without working online, you can probably do something very similar. And there's plenty of exploring to do in your own country and nearby without needing to travel all the way to Asia or somewhere else that will cost more money. So you can have that traveling lifestyle without being a rich CEO. In fact, it's much easier. Likewise, you might dream of having the perfect idyllic house. But again, you don't need to be rich from your job to get there. Instead, why not just focus on making the very most out of a relatively modest sized property? And this can be more successful than you probably expect. For example, if you want your home to look a lot more beautiful, one of the best things you can do is to simply remove items of decorating. Now, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but when you reduce your clutter a lot, you'll find that it's much easier to keep tidy. What's more is that the average value of your belongings will go up. So throw out 50% of your decorative items and you'll be left with only the very best things that you couldn't part with, resulting in a much more beautiful looking home. Likewise, sometimes it takes just one stunning feature to make your home truly special and unique. How about saving all your money towards a spectacular water feature? Personally, I'm buying a smaller home than I would ideally choose, despite being able to afford more. But for approximately $20,000, I'll be adding an office pod to the garden. It's a stunning, modern 2.5 by 2.5 meter office that is made from renewable materials and has large double glazed windows looking outside. It's a stunning feature that will increase the value of the property and that I'll be able to work in while the rain hammers on the glass outside. The perfect home without being rich. And often, if you really think about your dreams, you might surprise yourself. My friend recently quit a high paying job building defensive weapons for a startup that sold to the military. Instead, he became a park ranger. Why? Because he loves exercise, loves being outside, and he's fascinated by bugs. Go figure. But he's much happier now on a smaller salary and he can't wait to get into work every day. I could personally see myself loving being a tree surgeon. Every day is a high adrenaline adventure. I've been promoting the idea of quitting a job and becoming a park ranger or a rubbish collector a fair bit now, and understandably, some people watching this might be a little perplexed. If you're a motivated type A personality, then perhaps you can't stand the idea of being a rubbish collector or working for a nature reserve. But here's the thing. You can get your sense of progress and your sense of satisfaction outside of work. My sister did an art degree and loves creating sculptures out of paper. She was even hired to make an advert for a prominent musical artist. Now she works in telesales. Is she happy doing that? Well, yes, because she still makes art as a hobby, sells it on the side, and gets a real sense of reward from that. She feels like she's making progress and it has nothing to do with her job. Likewise, she's making an additional income from having another source of revenue. Again, you can do the same thing. Want to be a music artist? Well, the best way to accomplish that in this day and age is to get onto YouTube and start building a following. This is much easier and will give you satisfaction and reward right away. Or maybe you'd love to be an author. Great. Find a job that doesn't take over your life and then use the extra time to write your killer novel. You can always publish it yourself on Kindle or using a print on demand service like Lulu later on. And if it's just some extra money you need, then you could run a side business as a reseller on eBay. You could cut people's hair or you could teach the piano. You could even let your room to students for a few weeks of the year or use Airbnb. There are countless ways that you can make more money that don't involve working longer or taking on a ton of stressful responsibility in your current career. And there are other reasons that wealth doesn't equal income too. For example, you can often save a lot of money just by making changes to your lifestyle, and this will often be enough to increase your overall wealth. Now, that might mean that you stop drinking coffee in the morning. That's $3 5 days a week, which is $15 a week, which is $60 a month, which is $720 a year, aka a cheap staycation, right? But with some savvy budgeting, you can probably be much richer. But it's not about that. It's about first thinking what you want from life and then making the steps to get it. Oh, and actually, one of the easiest ways to become a lot wealthier is to move somewhere that's poorer. This is super simple if you work online. It means you can take your current salary somewhere where a house costs half the price and you'll get much more for your money. On what I make now, I'm struggling to get the house I want with my wife. But if I were to move to Lanzarote, I could buy a house in cash that would have 3 bedrooms, a pool, and a roof terrace. And I could spend my days saving up huge wads of cash ready to return to the UK in 3 years' time to buy a mansion here. Now, that's not the right course for me, but it could be for you. Over the last few videos, we've attempted to break outside the typical definition of lifestyle design in order to show that it can mean more than just working online and becoming a digital nomad. This is about an attitude more than anything, and it's about deciding you're going to call the shots in your own life. We've seen that lifestyle design could mean deciding not to take that rise and start a side business instead, or move a little closer to work. This might just be the path to happiness that is truest to who you are, rather than the path to success that we've been taught to aim for. But with all that said, there is a reason that lifestyle design is synonymous with working online for so many people. Ultimately, working online gives you the most freedom and the most ability to work where and when you choose and to create pretty much any business you like. The problem? Well, a lot of people don't know how to break into the world of working online, and the whole concept can seem very daunting and foreign if you're not familiar with it. Keep watching, and we'll take a look at precisely how you go about working online and how you can create your own virtual business with no need for any technical skills. Perhaps the easiest way to work online is to provide a service. This shows you just how easy it can be to work online. Any service that doesn't require you to be physically present can be carried out via the web just as well as it can in a brick and mortar business. This means that as long as you know how to send an email and operate Word, you should be able to sell your abilities as a writer. And if you're handy with a camera, you can be a photographer. All you need to do is to be able to find clients. And there are a number of ways that you can go about doing this. You could create a website showing off your skills and then promote that website with content marketing, social media, and SEO. You can post in forums where webmasters hang out, like Digital Point forums, the Warrior Forum, etc. You can list yourself on LinkedIn as well as sites where freelancers can find work, things like Upwork, Elance, People Per Hour, Fiverr.com, and so on. Or you can look for people who seem as though they might need your work and you can email them directly. The great thing about this is just how much advertising you can easily do in a day. Over time, you'll likely build up a long list of repeat clients, but until that point, you can just as easily find more work posting adverts everywhere you can, all around the web. From there, it's simply a matter of doing your work and getting it to the client in good time while managing your workload. I'll talk more about that later, but this is an incredibly easy business model that anyone can use. Another option? Well, find employment providing your service. If you can find a big website, for example, then there's no reason that you can't get a permanent position writing reviews for them or otherwise helping them with web design, emails, forum management, etc. etc. Want to sell products? Then there are actually a number of different options available to you. One option is to simply buy and sell products. Here you buy products at a lower cost, normally by purchasing them in bulk, and then sell them for more money. Alternatively, though, you might be able to create your own products, handy if you're good at arts and crafts. When it comes to buying products to sell, this of course means there's an upfront expense, which in turn means there's always going to be an element of risk. That is to say that if you don't manage to sell all of your inventory, then you can risk making a loss overall. But while this might sound like a risky strategy for someone new to online business, the reality is that you can actually manage it in order to reduce the likelihood of that happening. If you buy only a small amount of inventory to begin with, then you can wait until you've sold the first batch before reinvesting that money to buy more. Over time, you make bigger and bigger investments until eventually you're turning over a lot of stock and a lot of revenue. Of course, you'll also need to find ways to drive people to your online store, though. In this regard, you once again have several options. You can advertise. You can start out on eBay and build up customers that way. Or you can run a website and use that to promote it. To begin with, though, selling through eBay as well as an e commerce store is one of the best ways to start making profit right away. Both these business models are incredibly easy to manage and are accessible for anyone without any need to learn the ins and outs of internet marketing or of the web in general. But they still aren't perfect. That's because the best way to earn money is with passive income, meaning that you're earning money even when you relax and unwind. Passive income means that you've set up an entirely automated business model that will generate revenue while you're traveling, while you're sleeping, or while you're doing other things. So, how can this work? Let's start by looking at some forms of passive income that you can use with the business models we've already seen. Arbitrage means that you're simply passing on work and taking a cut. You're the middleman or woman, or perhaps a broker, and that means that you aren't actually doing the heavy lifting yourself. So, for example, you might advertise your services as a writer, web designer, a photographer, or an artist, just the same as you were before. But now you're going to simply outsource the work you receive to someone who is freelancing for you, in which case you'll call yourself an agency, or to a white label service, and that's a service that's happy to go uncredited. This isn't in any way immoral. White label services exist explicitly for this purpose, so there's no reason you can't use them in this capacity. Often these white label providers are overseas, meaning that they are able to survive on a much lower salary. You'll send a lot of emails, but other than that, this allows you to scale up your business by taking on more clients and outsourcing more to freelancers, taking a profit each time you do. Imagine if you could use white label services to run a store filled with physical products. Oh, wait a second. You can. Drop shipping means exactly that and basically describes the process of selling products that aren't yours and that you don't have in stock. Instead, all you do is find a company that is happy to work behind the scenes for a cut of the profit. These companies will fulfill orders that you pass on to them and will even let you put your branding on the packaging and sometimes on the product themselves. It can be tricky to find dropshipping companies, but if you do, then you have pretty much the ultimate business model set up. The method that a lot of people use to start their own online business is to create a blog. The aim here is to create a blog with a big following and then use this in order to make money from advertising, from the sales of digital products or from affiliate sales. You can even create a membership blog, which basically means people are going to pay a monthly or weekly fee in order to subscribe to your content. Affiliate sales are a particularly interesting option. An affiliate product is essentially any product that lets you sell it and keep a commission. Ebook creators will often open up their products for affiliates because that way they have multiple people all trying to sell their products on their behalf. If a creator can get enough affiliates, then they'll have a whole army of people trying to sell their ebooks, and that way they can multiply their profits several times over. This means they're actually willing to give away a very large percentage of those profits in a lot of cases, often as much as 75% or even more. If you can find a good product, and you can look on sites like ClickBank and JVZoo, and then promote the link from your blog, then you can make a lot of money without having to create anything. Of course, you can also create your own digital products too. Usually, blogs make money from advertising, though, and specifically, this will tend to be PPC advertising, which means pay per click, and is exactly what it sounds like. You get paid when someone clicks on the ad. Generally, you'll get a few clicks on your ads for several thousand people who visit your site, and you'll get paid anything from 1 cent to $5 for those clicks, although normally it'll be between 10 cents and $1. The more traffic you generate and the more popular your site, the more clicks you generate and the more profit comes in. The thing to remember about a blog is that it's not a quick way to make money by any means. Getting to the point where you have thousands of visitors can take a long time, and the same goes for getting to the point where people will pay to subscribe to your content. The other models in this video are much quicker for getting profit, so use these models and perhaps consider building a blog on the side. I can't believe we've gone this long and I've only just mentioned him. Tim Ferriss is one of the biggest names in the lifestyle design movement and is famous for one of the books that arguably kicked it all off, The 4-Hour Workweek. In this book, Tim describes some of the basic tools that you can use to work less and travel more. And among those, he describes creating a money generating muse. What's a muse? It's a completely automated business model that will bring in revenue. But in the book, he describes one specific method, which is to create a sales page that promotes a particular affiliate product, and then to simply pay for PPC, pay per click ads on Google or Facebook. Now you can choose your bids for those ads. So let's say you're paying 10 cents per click. That means it now costs you $10 to get 1,000 people to that page. And if you're making $50 a sale, well, then you can expect this to bring in some cash while you literally do nothing. These types of business eventually tend to run dry once you've exhausted the market, but as a way to bring in some money on the side while traveling, it's an excellent option. A digital product is any kind of product that you don't have to physically manufacture. And that can mean ebooks or courses, but it also means software in many cases. Creating a digital product and selling it from your website is a great way to monetize a website. But in many cases, you don't even need to sell it from your site, as long as you create a product that has a natural platform for selling from. A platform is basically your route to market and the site that deals with sales. One example would be the Kindle store. If you write a great book and submit it to the Kindle Direct publishing site, then you can bring in revenue without having to do any promoting yourself. That's because people will be able to use the tools that Amazon provides to find your book, and Amazon will handle all the transactions too. You can create as many ebooks as you like, and there's no fee for submitting, though of course Amazon does take a commission. Another example would be the Google Play Store if you create an Android app, or perhaps even the iTunes App Store.